Hey everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Let's jump right into Real Housewives of Tongue Twister. Real Housewives of Potomac. This was the lake house retreat, beginning of the retreat drama episode. I want to get through it really quickly because a lot of the stuff that I really want to read people on what happened at the end of the episode. So let's quickly get through the filler. I feel like I should have put my ponytail higher because on camera it looks like I don't have any hair. Oh well, y'all know I got a little bit. Y'all know I got a little bit of curls back here. Anyway, moving on. The show opens up with Candace and Chris. I think I said fast forward. Because ultimately, Candace is sitting at her computer looking at houses. Great. From the pictures, it looked like she's looking at stuff she can afford. And she's whining about not wanting to go because of her and Monique's relationship. And I'm like, girl, either you go or shut up. Every season on every franchise, whenever it's a group trip, somebody has to whine about, I don't think I'll feel like going. I'm probably not going to go. And they end up going anyway. So shut up. Just go on the thing. One thing I am gonna say, I'm ready for this to fast forward because I'm kind of a little bit with Candace. The Giselle and Monique friendship, want to build a friendship, is confusing to me as well. Every week I see it. It's off-putting. I don't understand why Monique is giving all of this energy to Candace but wants to befriend Giselle. I know the tables are all going to flip after this fight because all Giselle needs is a reason. All she needs is a reason for Monique to be off the show and her foot is on the gas. And we see it. But let's move on. We see everyone packing. Giselle calls Jamal's assistant. She got to check in with her man. When can he come to town? When can she go to town? Fast forward. Now, this next scene to me is a very key scene for the end of the episode. Michael comes in with cute little baby Dean and was like, you are taking this baby with you, right? Because I can't do it. You know, he's too little. When they this little, they need to be with their mama. He can't be 3 days without his mama. And I'm like, what? 3 days? You can't watch this baby for 3 days. Now, it seemed like next week we gonna get the tea to why Michael needs to confirm that Ashley takes this baby with her. But that's next week. We gonna get to that next week. But it seemed like in the scene with Michael, it seemed like Ashley would have been down, you know, to hire a nanny to stay at the house with the baby and she go off with her friends for 3 days and have a good time. But she gonna play it off in front of the girls and we gonna get to that at the end of the episode. But 3 days, I'm the type of mom, I'm always down for a mommy break. I used to, when my son was little, because I always, after high school, I went down south to college and I stayed down south. And so when I had my son, every summer he would go back to Illinois to my parents' house for 3 months, for the entire summer. The last day of school until the first day of school, he was gone. In 3 days, girl, I used to love me a mommy break. He a teenager now on the football team, senior year, thank you Jesus. And so I don't get the mommy breaks that I used to get, but as a teenager, they aren't as hands-on. Like, I just got to cash app him a couple of dollars and make sure some food in the house. And you know, make sure he following the rules, which he does. But outside of that, it's not as hands-on. But let's move on. We're going to get back to that. Now, like I said, we at Monique's house. She blah, blah, blah about all her preparations. I don't care. The bird flying around. I like T'Challa, so it don't bother me. Now, I wouldn't want him flying and shitting on my shoulder, no ma'am. But I think the bird is cute, and I would pet his feathers and stuff and talk to it. So, that's Luke and Angelo. I don't know what he's coughing up, but Giselle has to ride with Monique and Karen, and I don't understand why. Like, why? Why does Giselle have to ride with you all? Her girlfriend is Robin. I don't understand why they pushing this friendship storyline. It's just odd to me. It's very odd. But Giselle shows up looking like she going to Zumba class, not on a 2-hour road trip. Everyone else looks nice. Everyone else looks photo shoot, you know, selfie ready for the lake. Giselle looks like she's going to Zumba. And her sports bra don't match the outfit. Now that's one thing I do. I love to dress for Zumba or when I go to boot camp or whatever. But I have a million color workout outfits and a million matching sports bras. That was off-putting to me. And then Karen got to reading it, and let me tell you, Karen was like, thank God Giselle is good looking because she can't dress for shit. Now she said a little bit different than that, but that's what she said. And she said, sometimes I'm ashamed to be around her. And I said, yes, ma'am, Karen. Giselle cannot dress for the life of herself. Like, if it came down to somebody put a gun to her head, no violence, but you understand the example. If somebody put a gun to her head and Giselle go pick out a fashion outfit or you dead, Giselle would be dead. She cannot dress for nothing. And I'm going to read her a little bit later for that outfit she wore at the end of the episode. But I was so happy that Karen was reading Giselle down because Giselle dresses a mess. Her house is decorated a mess. And the wigs be fluffy and frizzy as a mess. But let's move on for that. So on this car ride, Giselle tells everybody her book is up for some kind of award. And I completely forgot Giselle wrote a book. And then we got the flashback of Monique saying that we know Giselle had a ghostwriter and she need a ghost reader too. Embarrassing. Let's move on from that though. Robin gets to the cabin first, and I'm like, wow, because Robin is usually always late. And now we get to hear the two broke bitches, Giselle and Robin, complain about the lake house being in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the woods, and they still... I'm like, y'all dumb bitches, you can tell y'all ain't got no money, never had no money. Because what lake house do you know that's in the middle of a city? That's right by the freeway. I ain't never seen a lake house in the middle of the city. So y'all the dumb bitches and the broke bitches always trying to throw shade in the confessionals. But Giselle, you see, we see your house, your little tear down. Every time they put that tweet on the screen, it shades you. Your little tear down log cabin. Keep tearing it down, girl. Keep going, because it ain't there yet. It's not there yet. And how dare you talk about somebody's house in the middle of the forest with all them trees around your house looking like it's in the middle of the forest. And then, Robin, how dare you say anything about anyone's house when you living in Little Cracker Jack and your kids reading you about how small your house is? How dare you? Your house can fit inside of Monique's guest house. So Robin definitely needs to shut the fuck up. She never needs to talk about nobody's living places, housing, nothing. That should be the last thing you should shade anybody on. But one thing I will say, at least Robin can decorate. Giselle, get your girl to take you over to Home Goods, Pier 1. They going out of business, get you a good sale, and get something in that house, because it look a mess. It looks a mess. But let's keep moving. I'm tired of the broke bitches. Candace arrives, and she's talking about she's hurt. Monique hurts her feelings. And I'm like, whatever. You just mad Monique treating you the same way you treated Ashley last season. So taste of your medicine. Now, everybody around the house, pretty much everyone is there for the most part. And T'Challa attacks Wendy. He just flew over. Wendy is telling everybody, I want to get to know everybody on a deeper level. And they're like, how deep, girl? Deep. We want to go deep. And here comes T'Challa. T'Challa got Wendy, and it was hilarious. Karen was in the confessionals like she probably was talking about his pussy popping too. And I was like, you right, Karen. You right. That was hilarious. Okay, now Ashley shows up with her baby, and jealousy completely goes over Wendy's face. And I ain't calling her Dr. Wendy no more. I used to give her some respect, but Wendy turned me off this episode. Like, the character she showed right now was displaying, I'd rather be on this reality show than a political commentator for CNN. So let me show my ass so I can continue to get whatever they hold in Potomac. I don't know what the girls hold. I know it ain't a peach. But anyway, so now we get to have the conversation over who's a newer mom. And Ashley is like, I'm a new mom. I have a brand new baby, my first child. And Wendy is like, no, I'm a new mom. My daughter is 2 months younger than yours. And she was born 2 months early. So I'm a new mom. And everyone's like, no, you're not a new mom. That's your third child. It's all, what's the word? Semantics. Like, it's all... Yes, Wendy, you're a new mom because you just gave birth to a baby, but Ashley is a new mom in the point of this is her first child. I don't give a fuck about none of that because Wendy, your attitude was all the way stank, and Ashley deserves to get some stank attitude every once in a while. She ain't no angel, but it was clear jealousy. And to me, if you have a premature baby, she's only what, 2 months old, 2.5 months old, and you can't be without her, you should have stayed your ass at home. You the one who want to be on the Potomac Girls, the Housewives. You the one who want to ratchet it up a little bit and have petty ass arguments so you could be on this television show when you're already on television. I personally, if I was at the clout of your clouts of where I am a doctor, a professor, I have political commentator on CNN, a national, probably a global network, I wouldn't give a fuck about these Potomac girls arguing over who husband fucking who and who tapping shoulders in the park and all this bullshit. I wouldn't have time for it. Your husband is an attorney. To me, I wouldn't have time for it. But if you want to slum down with the Giselles, who these women who most of, I ain't gonna say all of them, but most of them who ain't doing shit but reading, owning libraries and all that bullshit. If that's what you want to do, Wendy girl, you can get the same reads everyone else gets. So now they're like, Wendy, you just missed your baby. And so Ashley, because Wendy is like, I had to pump all my titties all on the ride over here, and I really miss my baby, and it's not fair. Ashley got to bring her baby. And Ashley was like, well, my husband works. And Wendy is like, my husband works too. And Ashley's like, well, my husband owns his business. Because, Ashley ain't going to let it go. Her baby is sitting right over there. To me, if I was Ashley, I wouldn't even give a fuck what Wendy talking about. Like, my baby here, yours ain't. Oh, well, your fault. But Ashley likes to argue. She don't give a fuck that baby Dean is sitting right there in earshot of all this foolishness. And so now Wendy is like, well, my husband attorney. Well, my husband own this. And so Wendy's like, I ain't giving you no sympathy. I don't care about you being no new mama. And Ashley's like, mind your business. And she should have threw bitch in there because Wendy was acting like a bitch. And so Robin in the background talking about, I can't even remember my kid's name. And I'm like, Robin, shut up. Don't make yourself look stupider than you already be looking. Shut up. You ain't 50, 60 years old rambling through 5 different kids, because you can't figure out what their name are. Your ass is 30, maybe 40. You got 2 kids. Both of them start with a C. How hard is it to remember their damn names? Anyway, I already said Wendy should have stayed home. The argument is too much. So let's get on over to this dinner, because the dinner, it pops off all over again, and I got some reading to do at this dinner. So first, Candace goes to pick up Giselle because the guest house is too far of a walk. And so when Giselle came and answered the door, she came. This is the spot where Karen should have been reading. Karen should have been reading right here. Giselle has on a mesh ruffly shirt that has pearls stuck in some kind of sequence. And then she has on a hooker pleather skirt that's way too short. And then her earrings look like these. These what they look like. The 99-cent earrings you get from the beauty supply store. I said, what in the entire fuck does Giselle have on? She looks a hot ass mess. It's a shame your broke friend Robin looks better than you. It's a shame. Robin go help your girl decorate and take her over there to Macy's and pick out her some clothes because your girl needs help. You're not a true friend letting your friend come on national TV looking like this. So for the third time, Candace is apologizing to Giselle. She wants it to be clear that she's sorry. They put the tweet up about her tear down and her log cabin in the sky, whatever it's called. And Giselle was like, well, I feel like this apology is insincere, so I accept it. But I'm like, bitch, you never apologized for what you did. So you could laugh at people. You know, you could make jokes. You could laugh at Candace living in her mama house, all that stuff. And somebody can call you out and you could be like, oh, girl, I was just laughing. But can't nobody say shit about you. Who made Giselle the queen bee? That's what I want to know. Nene, she is not. If you're not a Nene fan, Kenya, she is not. Candy, she is not. Portia, she is not. She is not even a Sheree. Who made Giselle the queen bee? I would love for Sheree. I'm telling you what would be so good is if you, one season, make the Potomac girls and the Atlanta girls go on a group trip somewhere where if they show out, they won't get arrested, because the Atlanta girls will eat the Potomac girls up whole, chew them up, spit them out, and leave them on the sidewalk. Like, Giselle could never. She could never wander around Kenya and Nene and Portia demanding 3-4 apologies. They will be making Giselle cry every episode. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Your fashions ain't even good enough to be the queen bee. Your wigs don't be pressed out good enough for you to be the queen bee. But for whatever reason, y'all want to give it to her. It must be the green eyes. Let me tell you, you could buy you some green eyes. Moving on. So we over at the dinner and they want to play a game of curiosity. They want to get deep. They want to know more about the people. First question, they want to ask Candace about her high school experience. She was the only brown girl in her high school, so that's what made her study African American studies in college. And here go Giselle. This bitch just apologized to you for the third time, and you said it was sincere, but here go Giselle throwing shade at Candace. Is that what made you get a nose job too? And Candace is like, a nose job? And they flash back a picture, because I don't know if Candace had a nose job or not. So I'm thinking she exposing Candace. And then they flash back the picture of Candace in high school, and I'm like, her nose look exactly the same. What did she do to it? And Candace was like, do you know something? I don't know. I ain't never had no nose job. And I would have read that bitch. I said, I got my nose job the same reason you need to get some Botox. You wrinkled up bitch. The same reason you need to do something with this. Fixing your neck. If I was Candace, I would have read that bitch. But Candace, everybody want to be Giselle's friend. I don't know. Is she an executive producer that I don't know about? Is she a Shawnee O'Neal and we don't know? Like, I don't understand why can't nobody read Giselle. But she could read everybody else. But you know who gets in Giselle's ass every time? It used to be Katie. I miss Katie. I know she crazy, but Katie would get in anybody's ass. She ain't play. If you came for her, she came for you. But Karen don't have no problem checking Giselle. So just Karen is like, okay, Giselle, we want to know something about you. Tell me, how is it dating a man that has had multiple babies in the congregation? How did you get back to dating him? And I said, oh my God, Karen, yes, that's what I want to know. Tell me, Giselle, what's your answer? And I wrote it down. She said, well, that was 12 years ago, and there's been a lot of forgiveness, and I trust him again. And Karen in the confessional was like, I could never, ever trust a man that got a baby mama on the same pew as me while I'm married to him. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, Karen. I'm telling you, all that bougie, my eyes are green, because I eat a lot of vegetables, all that bullshit. Giselle be doing. She thinks she all that because she got a little bit of shape that don't look like nothing in a swimsuit. It's just as bumped and wrinkled up as my thighs. She got the same amount of cellulite I got, but she just a couple of size, well, she a lot of size smaller. But Giselle ain't all that. She probably was all that back in the day. She can't even afford to get this Titan right here. She ain't even got no good skincare. I couldn't do it. You see her, your own kids is shading this damn relationship, but you trust them again, okay? You can have him. You can have him because all he gonna do is embarrass you to give you a storyline for next season. That's all he about to do. So let's move on. So now Karen want to know. She gonna ask Wendy. Well, Wendy, you want to ask me a question because you're all in my pussy. You're all in my panties. Want to know what's going on in my bedroom. So why don't you just ask me since you're asking everybody else? And so Wendy is like, well, girl, you seem to be dissing me every time you see me. And Karen does do that. And Karen was like, girl, I don't know you. And Wendy is like, we sit on the same board. It's 5 of us on the subcommittee. You know me. Now, let me tell you something. I'm on the board of my son's booster club. I'm the treasurer because I'm an accountant by trade. We got the president, the vice president, the assistant vice president, media secretary, and somebody else. So it's about 7 of us that sit on this board. I can tell you right now, if I had to write down all 7 people's name, I would fail that exam. It's only about half of them that I know name. And only the president, I know her full name because she signed a lot of documents that I have to sign. So I'm telling you right now, we sit in board meetings. We've been in board meetings all summer. We work concessions at all the games. We set up, take down all this bullshit we do for the football team. I can't even tell you everybody's name on that board. So I'm with Karen. Just because we sit on the board don't mean shit. I definitely don't know shit about what goes on in their bedroom. Wendy just mad that the Grand Dame doesn't know you. Like, who is that? I don't know her. That's what Wendy is mad about. But that cracks me up when Wendy get on the screen talking about we sit on the same board. I'm like, girl, we be working in concessions all the time because I have to drop the money off. And the board members be speaking to me. And I just be like, hey, because I can't call them out by name. Or if I ever need anything, I be like, where's Sherry? Because I know Sherry and I know Holly and I know the Fords. But everybody else on that board, no shade. I hope you ain't watching the video. I don't know. But I can't call them by name. I just be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, girl, how you doing? I don't know your name. And we sit on the same board. So it means nothing. Anyway, Ashley and Wendy have to argue some more. And I'm over it. I'm over it. Wendy is popping off again. She feel like I don't owe Ashley an apology. I know y'all broke it down for me. I know I came out of frustration. I know I said I said I was wrong or whatever, but I don't think it warrants an apology. And you know what? I respect people like that. Don't apologize if you don't mean it. And I respect Ashley. Okay, you on that bullshit, I'm through with you. I ain't got nothing else to do with you. And see, Wendy wants to play reality TV. So when Ashley is through with Wendy and doesn't want to argue, doesn't want to beg for an apology, none of that, she was like, see, I don't deal with fake bitches like you. And so that riled Ashley up because Ashley liked to do reality TV just as much as it seemed like Wendy liked to do it. And so Ashley, it gets to be another argument. I ain't write down what anybody said. But Wendy said something that stuck out to me because Wendy was like, that's why I don't mess with your kind. And I was like, what does she mean by she don't mess with Ashley's kind? Because everyone is African American. Everyone, Ashley, you know, she one of the ones that got a little bit of change. It might be her husband change, but it's hers. The last name makes it hers. So what kind is Ashley? That's something like somebody put it on Twitter. They was like, what does she mean by her kind? And I want to know I want to know. I want to know what she meant by that too. I hope we ain't got to wait to the reunion for somebody to ask. But then she told Ashley, people like you call me Dr. Wendy because Ashley want to bring Kenya back up, talking about Gone with the Wind, Wendy. Gone with the Wind, Wendy. I'm like, Kenya did that shit alone. She was Gone with the Wind all them seasons ago. We not about to start that again. Leave that with Kenya and her twirl and ATL. And so that was it. They cut it off mid argument. We gonna finish the argument next week. And next week look good. Next week look like Ashley and Candace made up just in time for Candace to start the shit off again. Because out of all the people who can get the news about Michael and what Michael doing back home, the text had to go to Candace. And you know who Candace had to go tell? She had to go tell her little green-eyed friend, Giselle. That's it. Like, comment, share, get in the comments. Let me know. I read Giselle enough, and I'm sure I'm going to read her some more next week. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. Bye.